Because what he didn't know, what Emily didn't know, was that I had been prepared for this moment the second I recognized that tattoo. Slowly, I reached into my purse and pulled out a recorder, sleek, silver device that had been running. Since the second I stood up and stopped the wedding, I held it high so everyone could see. Daniel's smirk faded as realization dawned on his face. "Oh, yes," I said sweetly. "Every single word you just said, about the fraud, the fake love, the revenge, all recorded." Guests erupted into shocked murmurs. Phones shot up, flashing and filming everything. Daniel lunged forward, but I stepped back, holding the recorder, out like a weapon. "Touch me," I hissed, "and the cops will be here in 5 minutes." Actually, I glanced toward the back of the church, my smile widening. Make that 30 seconds. Right on cue, the doors burst open. 2 uniformed officers strode in, followed by another figure, Detective Harris. Daniel froze, his confidence shattered in an instant. "You," he stammered. "You called the police." I smiled, cold and unshaken. "Not just called. I filed charges. Fraud, forgery, identity theft. And guess what, David?" I leaned in close, my voice a whisper only. He could hear. "They've been looking for you for years." The detective stepped forward, his voice firm. "David Miller, you're under arrest." Daniel tried to run but to officers, grabbed him, twisting his arms behind his back. He struggled, cursing, his eyes burning with hatred as they dragged him toward the door. "This isn't over, Margaret," he screamed. "You hear me? This isn't over." But it was. For him, as the doors slammed shut, the church fell into stunned silence. Emily collapsed into a pew, sobbing uncontrollably. Walked over slowly, my heart breaking despite everything. "Emily," I said softly, reaching out to touch her shoulder. She jerked away. "Don't, just don't." Tears welled in my eyes. "Sweetheart, I never wanted this for you." She looked up at me, then her face red, her eyes hollow. "You ruined my wedding," she whispered bitterly, "and I will never forgive you." Her words pierced me like a blade. But I didn't respond, because, as much as it hurt, I knew I'd done the right thing. Or at least, I hoped I had. The church was empty now. Guests had scattered, whispering to each other like they'd just witnessed a scene from a movie. Daniel was gonna hauled away in handcuffs, screaming my name like a curse. But Emily sat in the front pew, her wedding dress wrinkled and stained with tears, staring at nothing. I walked toward her, my heels echoing on the cold floor. My heart ached, but I forced myself to stay calm. "Sweetheart," I whispered, kneeling beside her, "please, let's go home." Her eyes turned to me cold, empty, like I was the enemy. "Home," she said bitterly. "You mean your home, the one you almost lost because of me?" I swallowed hard. "Emily, you didn't know. He tricked you." She laughed, sharp and hollow. "Did he, Mum? Or did I let him? Because for once in my life, someone made me feel special. Not like your little shadow, not like second best." Her words hit like knives. "Emily, I never made you feel that way. I love you more than anything. Then why did you hide this from me?" She snapped, her voice cracking. "Why didn't you tell me I had a brother?" Tears burned my eyes. "Because I thought it was the past. Because I wanted to protect you." "Well, congratulations," she spat. "You protected me so well, I almost married him." Silence stretched between us. Then, without another word, she stood, ripped off her veil, and walked down the aisle out the door, out of my life. I called after her, my voice breaking, "Emily, please." But she didn't look back. The heavy doors slammed shut behind her, leaving me in the empty church, my sobs echoing through the silence. For the next 3 days, I tried everything, calls, messages, searching every place she might go. Nothing, my daughter had vanished. On the 4th day, I got a letter, handwritten. No return address. My hands shook as I tore it open. The words inside made my blood run cold. "Mum, don't try to find me. You destroyed everything I cared about. You think you want, but you didn't. You have no idea what Daniel and I had planned. Goodbye." My knees gave out. The letter fluttered to the floor as I clutched my chest, gasping for air. I thought that was the end, but 2 weeks later, I got another shock, one that would haunt me forever. The news flashed across the screen as I poured my morning coffee. Local woman found dead in hotel room. Authorities suspect foul play. And then, her photo, Emily, my beautiful daughter, gone. The world went dark. My hands trembled so violently, the mug shattered on the floor. The anchor kept talking, but I couldn't hear anything past the roaring in my ears. Then, suddenly, face appeared on the screen. A grainy photo from a hotel security. Camera.Daniel. Not in prison. Not locked away. Free. And standing behind Emily. Smiling. The news anchor's voice cut through like a blade. Authorities believe David Miller, also known as Daniel Carter, may have escaped custody with the help of an accomplice. If you see him, do not approach. Call 911 immediately. My blood ran cold as the camera zoomed in on the final image. Daniel's hand on Emily's shoulder, and his other hand holding something small, shiny. Deadly. I collapsed to the floor, clutching the letter Emily had written me, my tears soaking the paper, because I finally understood. Emily hadn't left me out of anger. She had left because she was still in love with him, and now she had paid the ultimate price. The screen faded to black, but the last line of the letter burned in my mind like fire. You have no idea what Daniel and I had planned. And as the world around me fell apart, one thought chilled me to the bone. What if their plan isn't over? Before you go, tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Margaret's shoes? And don't forget to share which country you're watching from. The music was playing. Guests were smiling. My daughter stood at the altar, glowing in her white dress, ready to marry the man of her dreams. But then I saw his face, and everything inside me froze, because I knew him. And if what I suspected was true, this wedding could never happen. So I stood up, right in front of everyone, and shouted the words that made the entire church gasp. Stop the wedding. Before we continue, please write in the comments which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story. My name is Margaret. I'm 56 years old, and today was supposed to be the happiest day of my daughter Emily's life. I'd spent months planning this wedding. The flowers, the music, the guest list, everything was perfect. And Emily, oh my sweet Emily, she looked like an angel as she walked down the aisle. My eyes filled with tears as the guests turned, smiling, their faces glowing with joy. She was marrying the man she loved, a man named Daniel. They'd met a year ago, completely by chance, so Emily told me. He was charming, successful, handsome, the kind of man every mother hopes her daughter will marry. At least, that's what I thought. The ceremony began. The priest spoke words of love and devotion as Emily and Daniel held hands, gazing into each other's eyes. And then I saw it. a small tattoo peeking out from under Daniel's cuff. A simple design, but one I would never forget. Because I'd seen it before, on someone I had sworn never to speak of again. My heart started pounding, my vision blurred. It couldn't be him, it just couldn't. But as Daniel slipped the ring onto Emily's finger, he smiled on that smile. That same crooked grin sent a chill racing down my spine. Memories I had buried deep came rushing back like a tidal wave. A secret I had kept for 30 years. A secret that, if true, meant this wedding wasn't just a mistake, was a disaster. I couldn't sit still. I couldn't breathe. My body moved before my mind could stop it. I shot to my feet, my voice breaking the silence like thunder. Stop the wedding. The music screeched to a halt. Guests turned in shock. Emily spun around, her eyes wide with horror. "Mum," she cried, "what are you doing?" My hands were shaking as I pointed at Daniel, my voice trembling but loud enough for everyone to hear. "This man, he's not who you think he is." The room went silent. Emily's face turned pale. Daniel's smile froze. Guests shifted uncomfortably in their seats, whispering to each other. The priest cleared his throat nervously. "Ma'am, please, this is highly irregular," but I didn't care. My entire body was trembling, but my voice was stronger than it had ever been. "Emily," I said, looking straight at my daughter, "you can't marry this man." Her eyes filled with confusion and anger. "Why, Mum? What's wrong with you?" I took a deep breath, my heart pounding in my ears. "Because, sweetheart, I think he's your brother." The room exploded into chaos, gasps, screams. Someone dropped a glass, and it shattered on the floor. Emily stared at me, as if I'd lost my mind. What are you talking about?" Daniel's face went red. He stepped forward, holding his hands up like he could control the situation. "Margaret, this is insane. You need to sit down and stop ruining this day." But I shook my head. "No, Daniel, or should I call you David?" His eyes widened, just for a split second, but I saw it. That flicker of recognition. That name wasn't random. David, the name of the child I lost 30 years ago. Emily's voice cracked. "Mum, what are you saying?" Tears burned my eyes as I spoke the words I never thought I'd say out loud. "When I was 24, I had a baby boy. I was young, broke, and scared. I thought giving him up was the right thing to do. I turned to Daniel David, my voice trembling. They told me you went to a good family, that you'd have a better life. But then, 10 years ago, I saw a photo, that tattoo." I pointed at his wrist. The same design I'd seen in the adoption file, something his birth father had insisted on. A mark of blood, and now here he was, standing at the altar with my daughter. Emily shook her head violently. No, this is crazy. Daniel, tell her she's wrong." Daniel David swallowed hard, his face pale as snow. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. That silence told me everything. "Oh my God," Emily whispered, her knees buckling. Guests were screaming now. Phones were out. People were recording. The perfect wedding had turned into a nightmare, and it was only the beginning. Daniel finally spoke, his voice low and cold. "You weren't supposed to find out." Those words sent chills down my spine. Emily's head snapped toward him. "What does that mean?" He looked at her, his eyes dark and strange. "It means this wasn't an accident. You weren't supposed to find out." Those 6 words echoed in the church like a gunshot. Emily stared at Daniel, her lips trembling. "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" Daniel's eyes shifted cold, calculating, like a mask slipping off. For the first time since the day I met him, I saw the real man behind the perfect smile. This wedding, he said slowly, his voice chilling, was never about love. The guests gasped. People started murmuring, some moving toward the exits like they could escape the storm brewing inside that church. Emily's face turned white. "Daniel, please tell me this is some kind of sick joke." But he just laughed. Soft at first, then louder, echoing off the high ceilings. "Oh, Emily," he said, shaking his head. "You were so easy, so desperate to be loved, to have the fairy tale. I didn't even have to try." Tears streamed down Emily's cheeks. "Stop, just stop." I stepped forward, fury burning in my chest. "What is this about, David? Why go this far? Why marry your own sister?" He smirked at me, his eyes glinting with something dark. "Because of you, Margaret." My blood ran cold. "Me? Yes," he hissed. "The woman who abandoned me, the mother who threw me away like trash while keeping her perfect little princess. Do you know what that does to a child?" I felt like I couldn't breathe. "David, I didn't throw you away. I wanted you to have a better life. Don't lie to me," he roared, slamming his fist on the altar. Guests screamed. Emily flinched like he had hit her. "You gave me up so you could live your perfect little life. And I spent years wondering why I wasn't good enough. Why she," he pointed at Emily, "got everything while I got nothing." Emily's voice cracked. "So what? This is revenge." He smiled, slow and cruel. "Exactly." The silence in the room was deafening. "I wanted you both to feel what I felt, to be humiliated, to suffer." He looked at me, his grin widening. "And guess what, Mum? It worked." Emily's knees gave out, and she collapsed to the floor, sobbing. I rushed to her, wrapping my arms around her trembling body, but she pushed me away, her eyes wild with betrayal. "You did this," she screamed. "If you hadn't given him up, this wouldn't have happened." Her words cut deeper than any knife. But before I could speak, Daniel David stepped closer, pulling something from his jacket, a folded sheet of paper. He tossed it at me, and it fluttered to the floor like a dead bird. I picked it up and froze. It was a legal document, a claim to my estate, my house, my savings, everything I owned, signed in my name. But I hadn't signed it. "Oh, that," Daniel said casually, watching my face pale. "Yeah, you signed it last week, while you were sleeping." He smirked. Emily helped. My head snapped up, my heart stopping cold. "What?" Emily's face twisted with guilt as fresh tears streamed down her cheeks. "Mum," she whispered, I didn't know it would go this far. He said he loved me. He said it was just paperwork for our future." I stared at my daughter, my own flesh and blood, as betrayal clawed at my heart. And then I realized the horrible truth. This wasn't just Daniel's revenge. He had turned my daughter against me. For a moment, I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Emily's words hit me like a sledgehammer. He said he loved me. He said it was just paperwork for our future. And now, the truth stared me in the face. Not only had Daniel stolen my daughter's heart, he had stolen my entire life savings, everything I worked for, everything meant to secure Emily's future, and she helped him do it. My knees buckled, but I gripped the pew to keep myself standing. I couldn't fall. Not now, because this wasn't over. "Why, Emily?" I whispered, my voice breaking. "Why would you do this to me?" Her face was streaked with tears. "I didn't know, Mom, I swear. He told me it was for us to buy a house, to start a family. I thought you'd be happy to help. I stared at her, my chest tight with rage and heartbreak. Help, by signing everything I own away. Emily sobbed harder, covering her face. I was stupid, okay. I believed him. Daniel stepped forward, his smirk growing wider, like he was savoring every second. Oh, Margaret, he said softly, don't be so hard on her. She only did what any good daughter would trust the man she loves. Then his tone turned sharp, his voice slicing through the tension like a blade. But that trust, that's mine now. Just like your money, just like your house, just like your entire life. He crouched down, his face inches from mine, his smile dripping with venom. You see, Mum, you thought giving me up would erase me, but now I own you. Gasps rippled through the guests, but no one moved. No one dared intervene. Because Daniel wasn't just dangerous, he was enjoying this. Something inside me snapped. All the fear, the shame, the guilted, burned away in a single flash of pure fury. You think you own me, I whispered, standing tall, my voice trembling with rage. Daniel tilted his head, amused. I don't think, Margaret, I know. And then I laughed. Not a soft laugh, not a broken laugh. A loud, sharp, chilling laugh that made even Daniel flinch.